be that victory. Galaxy, though, as they get us underway, have pulled off a few shock results against Sundowns over the past years, and Amanda, we know that this is the stage for an upset. It's the Nedbank Cup, of course.
Yeah, it's always full of surprises, and looking forward to seeing how TS Galaxy can actually sort of reinforce themselves in this new pitch that they want to make home. But of course, won't be easy for Mamelodi Sundowns in such a compact pitch.
Now Zindonga has been set on his way. Tata Sabia making enough of an intervention there, and it has gone out for a goal kick. Sabia made his debut against Orb College in Sundowns' first outing of 2026. That was on the 19th of last month. Remarkable to think that since that game, they are playing now their 9th match this year. So that is in the space of about a month, 9 games. If you work that out, a game every 3.5 days or so. So the schedule has been very, very tricky for them.
It's a tricky schedule indeed, Grant, but I mean, if you look at the squad values across the league, Mamelodi Sundowns come up top, so almost 700 million plus. So certainly you're expecting that squad rotation, and for the players who are given an opportunity to step up.
This is Lunga to Jairzinho. Players trying to just really get a feel for it, particularly in the back, where they do like to move the ball around before spotting those openings, but on the surface they might have to adapt their traditional way of playing, as Lunga switches it expertly here for Letlaku, who's rolled it into good space, taken away from Shalulile. The opportunity may still have been on there for Letlaku when tumbling down, and now Galaxy seeking to come away with it. Another flag raised against Victor Letswalo, who's trying to go just a little bit early here. Man who he's almost timed it correctly.
Yeah, he almost timed it correctly, and he knows, an experienced striker, you have to hold the run, just choosing that halfway line to keep the onside.
Lost in the Nedbank Cup final against Mamelodi Sundowns over 5 years ago now. That was back in 2020 when he was still with Bloemfontein Celtic. Over the years, he has scored a few times against the Brazilian, 4 goals across 17 previous instances he's faced them with his various clubs in all competitions. This is Tiki Tsabaleng now for Santos, who returns it to him. And Tsabaleng goes down. Pretty good position for a free kick. Nice work done by the man on loan from FC Dallas in the United States.
Yeah, this is going to be key for the likes of Tsabaleng to really get close to their teammates, the intricate passing, the combination play, drawing an important foul very close to the TS Galaxy goal.
He has to make the most of these Nedbank Cup opportunities. Appeared against Gamora, but before that he had last played against TS Galaxy at the beginning of November in the league, as Iretape organizes his wall. Jairzinho seems like the most likely taker. Opened his Mamelodi Sundowns account in the CAF Champions League against Remo Stars, and they battered them 5-1 away from home in the preliminary rounds. And another potential option here. 4-man wall assembled with the obligatory draft protector as well. So it is Jairzinho, and he's given that way too much.
Good distance. I thought he went underneath it just a little bit. Good power as well. Couldn't really get the ball to dip just in time to really trouble Ira.
Well, against Gamora in the previous round, Mamelodi Sundowns managed a total of 27 shots. That was the most in the last 32. 8 of those on target, third most across the 32 teams who competed in the first round. absolutely dominated that game, almost 80% possession. You wouldn't expect anything close to that today, although with that said, when these sides met at the beginning of November in Pretoria, it was Mamelodi Sundowns who were utterly dominant in that game. Now racing after it is a 19-year-old Spamandla Ngwenya, although he hasn't timed that one correctly.
I think because of how compact the pitch is, Mamelodi Sundowns are really going to try and hold that line to force that offside, so the likes of Ngwenya certainly need to time their runs.
Hails from the East High Academy. They recruited him at the end of last year, where he's initially been playing DDC football. They haven't actually been able to register him until recently, with that FIFA ban now lifted. They have resolved their issues with Jigbe Kone, and now permitted to register players. So Tsepo Kakora from Magesi is on the bench today for TS Galaxy. Koza looking for options. Yes, Johannes. Back to Dennis Onyango, who's approaching 30 Nedbank Cup appearances. This is number 29 today for the veteran goalminder. He was a few months away from his 41st birthday. Nodded out of play by Solile Tsuenyo. Far side is where a huge contingent of Mamelodi Sundowns fans have gathered, but they have good support on the grandstand as well. Not a particularly difficult trip for them to make, much easier than it would be to get to Mbombela. Oh, given away cheaply by Ayende, and then upended is Sililek Mahlambi, but no foul called, and this is Shalulile. He had strayed.
Yep, and as you build up to that possible opportunity in front of goal, you can almost see that the ball is bobbling under. There's no smooth rolling of the ball. Good play from Malenda to really try and win the ball back. Timing once again from Peter Shalulile, certainly needs to do better.
Peter Shalulile has scored 9 times previously against TS Galaxy, as we get another look at that tangle between Mahlambi and Ayende. Sililek Mahlambi, of course, we know he started the season like a house on fire, but he has gone 9 games in all competitions without a goal now.
Yeah, and I thought he could have at least gotten a few in their previous encounter against Gallants in the Nedbank Cup. He had 4 shots on target.
Now ball swept down wide to Junior Zindoga, pursued by Sabia, and perhaps his presence was enough to just put the Zimbabwean off slightly as he overcooks his cross. Adam Meganovic knows that this will be a very, very tough encounter. He turns 43 years old in 2 weeks. He's a relatively young coach by most standards, approaching 50 games in charge of TS Galaxy now. Today, in fact, he's looking for win number 20 in what is his 48th game officially in charge of the Rockets. Could be a very valuable free kick from a Galaxy perspective here.
Good work from Maduna. That's what you get in terms of missing Gaga in that midfield. You'd rather have a Maduna who's very much also on that front press.
Miguel Cardoso has been in charge of Mamelodi Sundowns longer than any of his other previous stints at various clubs over the course of his career. In fact, he's approaching 70 games in charge. Are one of the best teams in the Betway Premiership in terms of scoring headed goals this season are TS Galaxy. So what can they produce from here? It's really drilled in straight at Dennis Onyango though. Specifically Maduna, having taken that free kick, had to track back and get his head on that ahead of Lutlaku.
It's good awareness, tactical discipline as well, because he knows that you've committed so many numbers. You have to come back and give that rest defense.
He will be absolutely itching to put in a good performance. He missed the Nedbank Cup outing against Gallus, and then the loss to Durban City last weekend. That's after he was sent off against Skakuni United in the 1-0 defeat they suffered. So a smart idea from Zindoga, but hasn't quite executed it perfectly to plan. As Sabir did some good work. He's used to pressure as Tata Sabir. He debuted against Orbit. He's played a couple of times against Al Hilal as well in the Champions League group stages. Mamelodi Sundowns with some disappointing results that actually put them on the cusp of going out. Here is Tata Sabir. He's in an offside position. But last weekend, getting the win that they needed against Rolani Mokwena's MC Alger to progress, as we confirmed for you that Sabir was indeed offside. So let's talk about this week, Amanda. They've had huge games against MC Alger last weekend, a must win. Against Orlando Pirates, a 6-pointer, must win to close the gap to 3, lose, the gap is 9. And now a knockout match against an opponent who in the past have been able to get the better of Mamelodi Sundowns on occasion.
Yeah, and simply because they probably, you know, have the same in terms of talent at their disposal, good quality from both ends. But of course, I think Mamelodi Sundowns just showing that they have that little bit of squad depth, as opposed to everyone a quick turnaround as well in terms of preparation with the totally new squad.
Give us some insight from a player's perspective, because not an insult to any team, but every now and again in the league you might come up against a side that don't pose you as much of a threat. But these are several games in a row that have all had really high stakes. So I would imagine as much as the physical comes into play with a quick turnaround, it's a mental thing as well. Absolutely,
because it demands that you rest. Sometimes the physical rest is not enough. You need to also just switch off in terms of that mental capacity. But this is the physical battle we're here to see. Maduna, Alende in that midfield really bossing it to really try and get the ball possession. But once again, we have to tap back into the squad refreshment, how it is that they recover. So it's quite important to exercise that regeneration from a squad capacity.
Salita Silva working it out to Letswenyo, trying to set Letswalo on his way. Watched back nicely by Divine Lunga.
I mean, you look at the tactical flexibility as well, and players just playing numerous positions. You look at Lunga this afternoon playing in a centre-back position. That just goes to show as well that you have to be a little bit versatile as players to play in different positions in this kind of squad.
A responsibility he has shouldered previously. Sabir makes a bit of a hash of it, and it will be a Galaxy corner. Still only a teenager, Tata Sabir, and those kind of mistakes will still be part of your game.
Yeah, it's very normal. Any player goes through that. He really tried to have a swing at that clearance, because I think he was very sure that there was a player behind him, so you can't take any chances.
Tall men awaiting a good delivery from Maduna, and that is far from it. In fact, it's curled out of play and then back in. So will be Dennis Onyango's goal kick. TS Galaxy hoping to make the most of their home advantage, playing for the 10th time at home in all competitions this season. They did lose their opening game at home 2-0 to Durban City, who now recently completed the double over them, and then went on that 6-game unbeaten streak at home, which included 5 wins. before losing out to Sekhukhune United at the beginning of this month, but getting back on track here, right here, against Gallants at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium, which is the home ground of Kazakh Stars in the Motsepe Foundation Championship. Speaking of Kazakh Stars, they'll be away to Orlando Pirates in today's 6 p.m. kickoff as Zindonga turns on the afterburners to try and keep that one alive. Very nearly did so.
And those are the finer details for this afternoon, to make sure that the weight of the pass, the precision as well, those technical touches on the ball. The pitch is quite intimate, and of course Zindonga looking for those wide spaces, and I guess it just neutralizes for everybody. Mamelodi Sundowns really also want to operate in the wide areas to get the crosses. TS Galaxy thrive from the crosses.
This for Mamelodi Sundowns, the 29th appearance in the Nedbank Cup in the PSL era. They are the third most successful sides in this competition over the years. Most recently won it 2021-2022. They've done so back in 2020 as well. 6 total victories for Mamelodi Sundowns, only behind Kaizer Chiefs, won the tournament 14 times, and Orlando Pirates 10 titles. That's on. He's played it behind Mutaung. Well, no call from the referee as Allende is dispossessed. Maduna has worked out to Mutaung. Zindonga. Gwenya's been looking confident with the few touches as he's had, combined with Maduna a moment ago. Now Allende. Measuring a ball to Letlaku, who from quite some distance out sought to place that in the bottom corner with no real power. In Tabaleng, it was appealing for the pass to be made.
Missed opportunity indeed. Tabaleng with arms in the air, really open.
Well, despite the narrow width of this pitch, Zindonga is having a lot of joy out on this flank, just in terms of finding himself some space to receive.
Yeah, probably has to play the waiting game, a little bit patient from the rest to really try and give that opening of an outlet for a quick switch and transition. He's always that outlet.
Zindonga in TS Galaxy's first game of the year, league win over Marumo Gallants, who they had not previously beaten in 6 matches. Winning a penalty, which Keita converted, and setting up Letswalo for that win, then getting his first TS Galaxy goal the following game against Amazulu, as this is lifted towards the back post, but Onyango assured behind it.
Mamelodi Sundowns are not the best clearers of corners, and in past times they have been punished. TS Galaxy with a missed opportunity.
Goal! Speaking of opportunities, we return to live action, and a goal has come. Well, everyone is over to congratulate the young debutant, Spamandla Ngwenya. Adnan Beganovic taking a real gamble in fielding him, but yeah, he bursts through to steal it from Allende and slot it away like a seasoned professional.
That's exactly what he needs to do, Ngwenya. He won't probably get as many chances against a team like Sundowns, but if it is that they're going to give away possession like that, they have to be punished. And certainly Ngwenya, great composure, good power behind the ball to convert for TS Galaxy.
Might have taken a slight touch off the toe of Malibonga Khoza just to change the trajectory of the ball ever so slightly, but what a dream debut for the 19-year-olds.
Yep.
Last year was captaining St. Mark's, famous old school from this province, in the K Motsepe Cup, and here he is in 2026 scoring against Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, the last time these two sides met in a cup match, and in fact the only previous knockout meeting that they've contested, was the last 16 of the Carling knockout in the 2023-24 season. Galaxy raced into a 2-goal lead courtesy of the now departed Spiwa Mahlangu and Mlungisi Mbunjana, but Allende and Sereno hit back with goals to force extra time in a game which TS Galaxy ultimately went on to win on penalties. Spiwa Mahlangu credited with that goal, although it came off, remember him, Boutouil, the Moroccan defender, more like an own goal from him. But now mistakes are plenty. They keep coming this time for the Rockets. Here's Rosinho. Oh, he showed too much of it to Letsoalo. Maduna picks it up. Bunjana. The hosts not looking overawed at all against their more illustrious opponents, but now it's Sundowns looking to get on the front foot. Striding forward here, Letlaku cutting it back. And they've done just about enough to thwart the danger.
Yep, they just did enough, TS Galaxy, but once again you look at that ball bobbling under. That first touch from Letlaku just disappoints him. Another opportunity going up begging for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Maduna. A bounce favoured Letsoalo there. Taung. Zindoga. Maduna. It's blocked by Sibia. Lovely from Santos. Allende now. Now perhaps at Loftus, that would have set up nicely behind the defence for Letlaku to race onto it. There's not a lot of space to utilise here. Now Shalulile bursting through, running along the byline. Iratape has made a critical intervention there as Mahlangu tracks it from the back by Keegan Johannes.
It's going to be very important for the likes of Mahlangu and Silva to make sure that in that defense, that intricate passing is definitely neutralized. But here, Peter Shalulile really taking an opportunity to run onto this ball, but certainly need to get more numbers from Mamelodi Sundowns.
Grimace from Maduna. He's really revived his career with TS Galaxy as Maduna. The fact that they are taking such care with supporting his neck hints at the fact this could be a fairly serious issue.
I think it's also very important to make or to take immediate precautions, not really try to wait. He seems to be having a little bit of trouble with the chest, and I mean it is really hot as well, the conditions this side, so it could be one of those.
Zinoga. This time can't get past Sibia. Appears to be struggling a little bit with the power that Junior Zindoga brings to the party.
Yeah, I was thinking Sibia has really burst into the scene, showing great physicality, showing great strength as well in his defensive duties, but Zindonga showing great experience.
Specifically Maduna, by the way, has gone all the way down the tunnel. He's been stretchered off, so they're operating a man-like, but they're on the front foot here. TS Galaxy, Bunjana, Mutau. Mahlambi, intercepted by Divine Lunga. Gwenya was really quick to close him down.
I think they know very well that Sundowns like to build from the back, and hence immediately they set those pressing traps and put a lot of pressure.
Zinho working it out to the flank. Now Allende spotting Santos in space. Zinho leaves it. Allende just couldn't sort his feet out in time to shoot, but does get the free kick, and it's right on the edge of the area.
It's a missed opportunity for him to pull the trigger. Wasn't too sure if he was still trying to set himself up. TS Galaxy did really well to get those numbers behind the ball, denying him a shot, but still drawing a foul. Allende.
So a second direct free kick opportunity, a little closer in than earlier in the game, a little more central as well. It favoured the left footer, favoured Zinho last time around, but now it seems as though Nuno Santos has laid claim to this one. Man who will turn 27 in just over a week's time. Portuguese, Nuno Santos. Oh, what a barrier that's been assembled here. 5 or 6 man wall for TS Galaxy. Pseudo wall of Mamelodi Sundowns that will crumble as soon as the ball is struck, I'm sure. By the way, outside of your picture, specifically Maduna must have had some terrific patch-up work done in the change room, because he's actually waiting to return, which is why TS Galaxy did not pull the trigger in terms of making that change. A goal down. Santos so close to putting them back level.
They're inching closer. They're really trying to find their range. And once again, you see the technical ability, good technique in terms of really trying to go over the ball.
TS Galaxy have only won twice outright against Mamelodi Sundowns in 12 previous meetings, and both instances have been by a single goal margin. The opening game of the 2022-23 season was very early in that season, away to Mamelodi Sundowns. Lifa Hlongwane on their counter-attack, where Siad Romovic introduced, I guess, the general public to the phrase Catenaccio. And then more recently, Sibilibili with an excellent goal at the first game of last season at TS Galaxy at the Mbombela Stadium. A penalty shootout win as well in the Carling knockouts 2 seasons back. But all told, it is Mamelodi Sundowns who have dominated this particular fixture and have won by some very, very heavy margins in the past. Now Johannes Zinho to Allende. He's given it away again, as Marcelo Allende.
Yeah, good steal by TS Galaxy. Italiano this time around coming back, dropping into that midfield to really do the hard work.
Kevin Johannes is the first recipient of a yellow card. haven't delivered it directly into the box. There's Mahlambi. Still Mahlambi. Teasing Sabia. He makes the challenge in the box. Referee, no hesitation in pointing to the spot. Galaxy with an opportunity to go 2 up.
Oh, and Mahlambi loves those 1v1 situations. He really isolates the defender. This time around, going up against the young Sabia. Couple of step overs, really trying to shrug off Sabia. Completely misses the ball, and certainly a penalty.
Ana Meganovic is beside himself with joy at the chance to go 2 up. 12 previous meetings between these two sides. There's only been one instance where TS Galaxy have scored twice against Mamelodi Sundowns, and that was that Carling knockout fixture back in 2023, the only other cup game that they have contested. Junior Zindoga scored a worldie against Amazulu to open his account for TS Galaxy. That was at the end of last month. Now with a huge opportunity here in this Nedbank Cup match against Onyango, sends them the wrong way, and the Rockets have propelled themselves into a 2-goal lead.
Great composure shown by Zindonga, stepping up to take the responsibility to put TS Galaxy ahead. You have to admire the individual brilliance of Mahlambi, taking on the defender, forcing him to commit. Certainly wins that penalty for TS Galaxy.
As well struck by Zindoga. And Galaxy have scored 2 before the break, having come into this game without a first half goal in their last 7 matches across all competitions. Now, the last time they'd scored a first half goal was the 23rd of November. Ditejane now departed in the 17th minutes against the Montfort Golden Arrows. Looking to hit back on Mamelodi Sundowns. Allende straight into the head of Rocket skipper Mpunjana. No one expected a 0-0 draw. There's never been a 0-0 draw in a dozen previous meetings between these two sides.
Yep.
And so we've had a terrific opening 30 minutes here. Now Rizinho. Allende on his outside. Back to Rizinho, finding Santos on the edge of the area. Eased into the path of Nsabaleng. Looking to bend it towards Khoza. Johannes wins it in the air. Mahlambi almost escapes with it. Quenya, oh, misplaced his pass after initially executing a really good touch. Coming back to retrieve is Letlako, who will turn 20 next month. Think about how long it's been since he was introduced to us, since he burst onto the scene. He's still technically a teenager. Sibia. Lunga now. Zinho to Khoza. Santos. Nsabaleng. Santos. Working it nicely to Letlako, still Santos now. Allende. Seeking to drill it across. Will get a corner. comes. Peter Shalulile beaten to it in the air. Sundowns in the last 16 for a 26th time in the PSL era in the Nedbank Cup, and for a 7th season in succession. But will they be able to progress beyond this point? They do have a terrific record in the last 16 in the PSL era since 1996-97, which we'll expand on in just a moment. Here is Allende Letlaku. There's a brief appeal for offside, and Spesitli Maduna has done some good defensive work. The Mamelodi Sundowns in the last 16, including wins and losses on penalties, have played 25 times, have won 21 times, and have only been knocked out at this stage on 4 occasions. That was back in 1996-97, again a couple years later, 1998-99, then in 2009, and most recently in 2017 when they lost to Le Mans Golden Arrows. But since 2016-17, they, when reaching the last 16, have not been knocked out at this stage. And they have made it to at least the quarterfinals every season since 2019, when Chipper United eliminated them in the first round. So that is, at the very least, the last 8 for the past 6 seasons.
It's quite interesting that for the past 6 seasons, how many times they've been runner-ups.
As well, yes.
Yeah.
And tell you that the reason the noise level has just risen ever so slightly, you might have been able to pick it up in the last 10 seconds or so, is that Brian Leon has been sent to warm up. He's a man who has been in such hot form since joining Mamelodi Sundowns. Already half a dozen goals for the Colombian, who has scored each of their last 4 in all competitions. Twice against Orlando Pirates, a brace against MC Alger. Yeah, Shalulile. Still, Peter Shalulile with the ball at his feet. That's off Macbeth Matlangu. A man born and raised in this region, the Kwandebele region, more specifically Kamadofir. Letlaku did provide an assist in the first round. And he's taken this corner short. Set up Peter Shalulile, a 2-1 win against Gamora. Didn't have it all their own way against Gamora United in the last 32 either, as it's carried forward here by Ntabale. Allende. Oh, floated forward beautifully by Allende. Just tripped over the top of the defense. Peter Shalulile couldn't get a telling touch.
The timing of the delivery, the pass, the weight as well, really spotting Peter Shalulile. A missed opportunity for Peter Shalulile, open and really breaking that offside line.
Rezinho drilled to the feet of Letlaku, who's misplaced his pass. Here's Ngwenya. He's asking far too much of Zindoga, who just implores him to calm down a little.
No offside at all.
Yeah.
He sees that the pass is coming. He does the right thing as a striker to really try and return back and make sure that you're onside. But he completely misses.
Exceptional movement there to stay onside. Shuffled a couple of steps backwards before making that run. 15 goals in the Nedbank Cup since 2008 for Peter Shalulile. He is the outright leader in terms of goals in the Nedbank Cup era, competition under his current guys, current sponsorship since 2008. When He scored against Gamora. It was the first time scoring in the Nedbank Cup since 2023 when he netted a hat-trick in a win over Marumo Gallants at this very same stage, the last 16. That goal against Gamora also means he's Sundowns' outright top scorer in the Nedbank Cup, eclipsing the 11 goals Hlopho Kekana has. For Shalalile, it's 12 for Mamelodi Sundowns and 3 in the colours of Highlands Park. And his Nedbank Cup goals come at about a goal every 2 games. 15 goals and 26 appearances in this competition. Nyango finding Sibia. Santos. And the ball was set up very nicely from Shalalile's perspective, not so much from Mahlangu's, the backspin on that. The way that Santos punted that ball forward, the technique on it, made things very tricky for the defence.
Yeah, I think if you make those kinds of passes, you have to give it a little bit of a spin so that it comes back to the teammate you're passing. Of course, Mahlangu, with his experience as well, timing certainly let him down, but that's just the quality of some of the individual players of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Sabaleng in a battle with Opamutong. Sabaleng, who played reserve league football for Mamelodi Sundowns and then Kaizer Chiefs in the Diski Challenge before moving on to the United States. Here is Allende, can't keep his shot down. Netted since September, Marcelo Allende, a win over Durban City. There's a look at the earlier incident, Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, you can really see the spin on the ball, and immediately it gets on the ground. It holds up a little bit. Goalkeeper Ira and Mahlangu, just a little bit of miscommunication there.
Now a chance for TS Galaxy to bag a third. Idea from Mahlambi. He'll be confident after winning that penalty. Duna joining Keegan Johannes in the referee's book. Very late.
Yep.
Tabaleng moves it on neatly here for Allende. Breaks for Santos. Letlako. Letlako's ball in. It's overhit.
Decision making from Letlako this time around. Had Johannes, who was overlapping, could have maybe threaded the ball through. He chooses to go directly. I guess the execution just really lets him down.
Forward by Iratape, met by Koza. Allende. Lunga. Tuna intercepts, but referee coming back for an earlier incident. Gwenya offering his apology to Lunga, but it won't help him escape a card. A goal and a booking on debut. Now Shalalile almost racing onto that one. Mutaung had to put a foot in. The ball could have gone anywhere. In fact, it did go back towards his goalkeeper. was able to make a comfortable enough clearance as we enter into 3 minutes of additional time here at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. Good win by Sabia. He's done tremendously well here. Zindoga wins it inside the box. It was crucial that he get that right. There's Rizinho from miles out.
Sure, it must be a little bit frustrating for the likes of Rizinho. They haven't really enjoyed much of the ball possession. They really like in that midfield to get the passes going. They've been forced to take shots way outside the 18-yard.
Miguel Coroso does have a very deep bench as Mamelodi Sundowns look to pull one back before the break. And the Santos has kept it alive here for Rizinho. Now Chabaleng drills it towards the goal of Iratape, makes a comfortable stop. Yeah, Ivorian perhaps hasn't been his best in 2026, but still a quality goalkeeper. Sabia darting past Zindoga. He's kept his balance tremendously well here. Zabaleng laying it off for Letlaku. Great pick out for Santos. The angle is there for the shot. Oh, allowing the play to continue, Mr. Gwanazi, but coming back to Book Mutong. And all of a sudden, in the space of just a few minutes, we've had Maduna, Ngwenya, and now Mutong booked in probably the space of, I would say, 4 or so minutes.
I guess if you are carrying a caution already, that is trouble.
Yeah. Tabale. Giannis. Koza. Time almost up. Well, quite the first half. Not many would have predicted that TS Galaxy would take a 2-goal advantage into the break. The side that hadn't even scored a first half goal in their previous 7 outings, but they capitalize on a Mamelodi Sundowns error for the debutant Spamandla Ngwenya to open the scoring, and then Junior Zindoga from the penalty spot. Amanda, Sundowns with a lot of work to do in the second period.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. Mamelodi Sundowns are a team that play with a lot of rhythm, and we haven't seen that. Individual errors or defensive errors as a team, they got punished. And they certainly need to have a reanalysis in halftime and make sure that they make those changes.
Well, they had to ring the changes for this game, considering the very quick turnaround time after facing Orlando Pirates on Wednesday. They made 10 changes in total. They find themselves 2 goals down at the break as these sides clash in pursuit of a Adnan Bogdanovic taking a real gamble in fielding him. But here he bursts through to slot it away like a seasoned professional.
That's exactly what he needs to do, Ngwenya. He won't probably get as many chances against a team like Sundowns, but if it is that they're going to give away possession like that, they have to be punished. And certainly Mamelodi Sundowns are not the best clearers of corners, and in past times they have been punished. TS Galaxy with a missed opportunity.
Goal! Speaking of opportunity,
the Sundowns are not the best clearers of corners, and in past times they have been punished. TS Galaxy with a missed opportunity.
goal! Speaking of opportunities, we return to live action and a goal has come. Well, everyone...
Corners, and in past times they have been punished. TS Galaxy with a missed opportunity.
Goal! Speaking of opportunities, we return...
Clearers of corners, and in past times they have been punished. TS Galaxy with a missed opportunity.
Goal! Speaking of opportunities, we return to live... Delivered it directly into the box. There's Mahlambi. Still Mahlambi. Teasing Sabia. He makes the challenge in the box. Referee, no hesitation in pointing.
Going up against the young Sabia. Couple of step overs, really trying to shrug off Sabia. Completely misses the ball, and certainly a penalty.
With a huge opportunity here in this Nedbank Cup match against Onyango, sends them the wrong way, and the Rockets have propelled themselves into a 2-goal lead.
Him to commit certainly wins that penalty for TS Galaxy.
As well struck by Zindoga. With a huge opportunity here in this Nedbank Cup match against Onyango, sends them the wrong way, and the here in this Nedbank Cup match against Onyango, sends them the wrong way, and the Rockets have propelled themselves into a...
You have to be a little bit versatile as players to play in different positions in this kind of squad.
A responsibility he has shouldered previously, as Sabia makes a bit of a hash of it, and it will be a Galaxy corner. A responsibility he has shouldered previously, as Sabia makes a bit of a hash of it, and it will be a Mamelodi Sundowns are making a triple change, but let's first report on the solitary alteration that Galaxy will be making with Paul Velase onto the park. And then for Mamelodi Sundowns, Tata Sibir replaced by Tapelo Morena, and Tashreeq Matthews and Brian Leon coming on for Ntsabeleng and Letlaku. Now, the last time that Mamelodi Sundowns were knocked out at the last 16 stage, Tapelo Morena actually started and played in that game, and Pitso Masamane, that was a 1-0 loss in 2017 to Le Montville Golden Arrows. Looks like TS Galaxy actually want to make a second change. I wonder if that's in response to something that they had seen the triple change potentially from Mamelodi Sundowns, or if it was already in the offing. But we said that they signed Tsepo Kakora and then had to wait an absolute age before being able to register him. But now that they have resolved their issues with the Yegbe Kone dispute, he will get an opportunity now against Mamelodi Sundowns. As Besitle Maduna makes way. Remember, Maduna was off the field for a good few minutes in that opening half, and they resisted the urge to change him, and he managed to come back on, but now indeed does make way. So Kakora, who has not played a competitive match since August, the end of August, is on now for TS Galaxy. He's very highly rated by Beganovic, was talking about him in their first game of 2026 when they faced Morimo Gallants, that they had brought him on board and were very eager to get him involved. So it will be a goal kick, as confirmed by the referee, much to the displeasure of Divine Lunga. Malibonga Khoza, not the most convincing header there. Seluleka Mahlambi. Now an opportunity to go against Morena. He's got the better of him. Let's swallow. Can't dig it out. Bunjana beaten by Tashreeq Matthews. Scored 3 goals in the Nedbank Cup last season. Did Matthews. Only Chakvasa Mabasa and Pule Modi got more in last season's competition, as Johannes 6 options here. Morena. So it's a bit of a rare thing for Mamelodi Sundowns to concede 2 first half goals. Amanda, it's been almost a year since they conceded 2 in the first half. As Khoza goes for it, and he's produced a fierce effort here that forces a great save out of Iratape.
Yep, he had to cause us so much space and time on the ball. Gets the accuracy, gets the power, gets the reaction needed from Ira. Save.
Hoisted into the box. Ira getting a punch on that. Tashreeq Matthews. Push it back to Allende. Santos. By the way, TS Galaxy's goal scorer, 19-year-old Spamandla Ngwenya, has departed, so we can confirm for you Maduna and Ngwenya off, Velase and Kakora are on. 5 changes made in total, 4 across both teams at the half-time break. Plenty of space here for Morena. Cross from deep is a decent one. Mahlambi. Letsuenyo. Bunjana. Good away to Rosinho. Finds Santos. Velase. Away from danger. Johannes. Oh, it's a good pass from Keegan Johannes. Disguised the pass, feigned that he was going to shoot, and located Morena.
Yeah, I think he does well to make sure that he locates Morena, and that's why Morena's being introduced. He's very critical where the overload is concerned, but also overlapping, making himself always an option.
Away by Letsuenyo. Gakora. Either side able to hang on to it, and it's broken here for Junior Zindoga. Has space to move into, taking on Johannes. Still Zindoga. And eventually dispossessed, a combination of Johannes and Rosinho. TS Galaxy at home to Mamelodi Sundowns have steadily improved. They lost their first 3 home games against Sundowns, and are actually unbeaten in their last 3 matches, home matches against them. As Santos races clear. Santos setting up Matthews. Oh, what a save! What a stop from Iratape. They were queuing up.
Spoke how important it was going to be for Ira to make sure that he's highly concentrated. Break from Mamelodi Sundowns. Santos doing ever so well to wait for an option to come. Of course, Matthews arrives unmarked, misses an opportunity, but Ira, what a save.
2 top stops in the second half already. He's felt the nudge of Brian Leon, and no hesitation on going down. There have been games this season where he's really emerged as a hero type of era. The final game of 2025 made 8 or 9 saves against Kaizer Chiefs to keep the score at 0-0. Now they have a lead to protect, and a foot in the quarterfinals, perhaps a toe in the quarterfinals, because they are up against Mamelodi Sundowns, who do still have just under 40 minutes to try and turn this around. Letsualo. Allende working it here to Matthews. Forward by Tashrik Matthews, too strong for Peter Shalulile. Scraped away by Tape. Not all too convincing, but it's with Zindoga now. Velase. Junior Zindoga. Cut out by Allende, but he's relinquished possession. Jana back to Tape. Booming clearance from the Ivorian. TS Galaxy today become the 41st different side the Mamelodi Sundowns have faced in the Nedbank Cup era since 2008. Sundowns the 15th different team that Galaxy are facing. Just their 18th match overall in the Nedbank Cup. TS Galaxy won it back in 1819, famously against Kaizer Chiefs as a second-tier side, becoming the first team from outside the top flight to win the National Cup. good for Galaxy. And they'll settle for the corner.
There's a great sense of confidence with TS Galaxy. Patience as well as they recycle the ball. Really trying to evoke that reaction from Mamelodi Sundowns to just really chase the game.
It will be Tsepo Kakora to take the corner. A man that knows all about upsetting the odds in a cup game against Mamelodi Sundowns. Did that in the Carling knockout final. His former side, Magesi, famously getting the victory. Onyango assessed his options and looked to find Matthews. Sundowns have hit the targets with 50% of their shots so far. Do have the lion's share of possession, just under 60%. The ball with Brian Leon. Can't keep his feet. Zindoga. Jairzinho. Morena. Santos. Tapela Morena. Shalulile. And then Leon. And now a chance for Matthews again. Allende. Leo. Collected by Jairzinho. And a defensive touch very nearly caused all kinds of problems for Galaxy.
Yep, a great pass, great mobility and movement from Mamelodi Sundowns. Leon just making himself an option. TS Galaxy is still making sure that they keep the scoreline at 2-0, clearing their lines.
In from Allende. Mahlambi. Good challenge by Matthews. Just can't get it away at the moment in Galaxy as Leon goes down. Referee not at all interested in his appeals. Jairzinho. Santos. Akosa. Allende fouls.
I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for the likes of Allende in the second half to really try and find those spaces. Bunjane putting all the necessary pressure. TS Galaxy, the bodies behind the ball.
Flung forward by Koza. Shalulile is lucky to keep the ball moving with a pass to Lunga. Hooked it to him a little inaccurately. Complexion of the Mamelodi Sundowns defence, despite seeing only one alteration in personnel, the complexion of the defence itself has changed quite drastically with Lunga now switching to that left-back role, and Johannes vacating right back to allow perhaps a more mobile wide man in Morena to operate down that flank, as we get a look at this challenge from Kakora.
Yeah, I think he just slips as he makes that tackle, but certainly that shape had to change. Lunga didn't really seem very comfortable in that centre-back position, but also Sibia maybe a little bit knocked in confidence after giving a penalty, so it's all about restructure for Mamelodi Sundowns at the back.
Kakora into the book is the 4th TS Galaxy player to have his name taken. But of the 3 players who received cards in the first half for TS Galaxy, only Obamutong remains on the field. Allende's ball plucked out of the sky by Iratape. Lunga. Koza. Morena scored the winning goal in 2022's final against Marumo Gallants, a game in which Peter Shalulile had opened the scoring, with Junior Dion getting the equalizer. Morena scoring in the last minutes of extra time in that particular match. It's the last time that they won the Nedbank Cup. So ball out of Mamelodi Sundowns will be making a change. And listen to the roar from this capacity crowd. Peter Shalulile has been a bit quiet against one of the teams he absolutely loves playing against. He's only scored more goals against Chiefs and Arrows over the course of his career than he has against TS Galaxy. Here is Themba Zwane. Also came off the bench back in 2017 against Le Mans for Golden Arrows, the last time that they lost a last 16 game in the Nedbank Cup. That day, Kennedy Mwene, who's on the bench as Sundowns goalkeeper coach, kept goal for them. Zinho. Now this is Zwane. And all hands to the pump in terms of the defensive work. Even your lively forwards, the likes of Mahlambi.
Yeah, it's important for TS Galaxy now to really keep their shape, to minimize those spaces in between. The likes of Themba Zwane really like to operate. They haven't been able to play or receive between the lines, which means TS Galaxy have really been disciplined defensively.
Zwane to Matthews. Allende. A nice ball for Morena. Zindoga. Well, they're pegging them back at the moment. It won't allow them to escape, so the pressure remains on.
We spoke about how important it is for Mamelodi Sundowns to really play with a little bit of rhythm. And since the introduction of the likes of Matthews, Themba Zwane as well, Morena, kind of get to see that little bit of tempo, that little bit of rhythm that we are used to seeing. And maybe an opportunity to really chase the match.
The Mamelodi Sundowns have had more than 80% of the possession over the last 5 minutes or so. It did take them until just beyond the hour mark to break down TS Galaxy when they met at the beginning of November, when Ancho Saleh scored the only goal. Santos now links up with Morena. Vizinho. Koza. Still Malibonga Koza. Last time he gave them space, really tested Iratape from range. As well won by Kakora. Gets the free kick.
That counter press of Mamelodi Sundowns now coming to effect, because they really want to keep TS Galaxy pinned back into their own half. Kakora really struggling to get through 3 defenders of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Only twice in 12 previous meetings between these two sides have Sundowns failed to find the back of the net against TS Galaxy. The 2 1-0 defeats they suffered at home in the 2022-23 season, and then the away defeat last season. Can they find a way through? Johannes to Zwane. Lunga. Tembazani again. Brian Leon. The dink forwards. Looking for Tashrik Matthews. Velase. Felt a tug on his shirts.
Velas's introduction certainly means that he's going to make sure that he does the dirty work to pick up pieces in that midfield.
Squeezed through nicely by Letsuenyo. Zindoga with the first time ball. Letsuala not on the same page as him. Santos. Matthews. Lunga and Allende scoops it over.
Allende just making a great run into the box. Quick acceleration, timing as well. Lunga bombing down on the left. Finally get to see him, making sure that he operates on that wide flank.
Cardoso was wearing white actually in the first half, but on the touchline can't be wearing the same color as one of the teams out there on the park, as Mahlambi was dragged down by Johannes.
Love Mahlambi's confidence. He's enjoying the match, his ability to take on the opposition. Drawing another foul from Johannes, uses his speed, quick acceleration, also just the skills in terms of close control of the ball.
An interesting tactic from the free kick. Here's Letsuenyo. Velase. Letsuenyo. Played it nicely. That's Sundowns deal with it well. Johannes now. Bumped rather aimlessly upfield. Irita. Victor Letsualo. Zindoga. Kakora can't find a way past Matthews. Ball handed straight back to TS Galaxy. Macbeth Mahlambi. Mahlambi. Still Mahlambi. Eventually dispossessed. Sliding in goes Kakora, but it's with Matthews and retrieved by Zwane. And Allende down the flank for Tashrik Matthews. Only Brian Leon in the box, and Salatil Silva steps forward timeously. Letsualo now. Zindoga. Galaxy have made it to the last 16, 5 seasons in succession, but they don't have a particularly good record at this stage, or let's call it patchy. 5 appearances in the last 16, 2 wins and 3 losses. As they look to preserve this 2-goal advantage. Tashreeq Matthews with the cushioned header. Letswalo Tumvelase. Well, they still having a few hairy moments, TS Galaxy.
And they can't afford to take that much risk in their own half. Mamelodi Sundowns are really applying the pressure and hoping to really press on, force them into those mistakes.
So Aubrey Modiba is on, a man who provided an absolutely divine assist for Brian Leon. Will be much more willing to get up and down that flank than Divine Lunga is. Precisely what they need at the moment. As Tashreeq Matthews lifts it onto the roof of the net. Has been with the team since the time in the first division. Mr. Sukaisi Senior in attendance. Well, he's just resisting the urge now to let that smile creep across his face. Tim Sukaisi is a man who's been in football long enough to know that 20 minutes is an awful long time. A 2-goal lead is not as big as it seems. Ashlan is still receiving some treatment here.
A physically sapping game. I can't imagine the weather conditions as well make it a little bit difficult, and hence contribute immensely with the cramping. But they certainly need to make sure Mahlangu gets back into that defensive force, because they've been doing exceptionally well with Silva.
Zwane doesn't control as neatly as he would have liked. And he does get it to Matthews. Almost manages to return it to him. Here comes Mbunjana, charging forward. Swallow turns it on as quickly as he possibly can, and he has it back over the top from Mbunjana, who's offside.
That's exactly how you turn defense into attack. Mbunjana winning the ball back into his own position. But then once again follows the play, leading up to a potential goal-scoring opportunity. Couldn't beat the offside trap.
That's a good decision from Tabukinani on that far side. The second assistant. Tim Zwane now for Modiba. Away by Letswin. Passed out to then First Division side Durban City last season at this very same stage, TS Galaxy. Looking to go to the quarterfinals once again. Go! Letsolo's won it! Will he get another bite? He does, and Onyango's been able to recover in time. Well, so often over the course of this game, Sundowns have been guilty of putting themselves in these awful positions, as Morena now gets a ball in and has forced a corner.
Yeah, Mamelodi Sundowns have just lacked the composure at the back. Could be a different combination in the centre-back pairing, but of course, Koza
over the top. Oh, you look at that run from Victor Leswana. That's just pure willpower.
Yeah.
Just what an effort.
All there is just timing up against a player like Koza. Just need to make sure that you don't give Letswalo those kinds of opportunities.
Koza though does recover very well though. That's his touch to he had initially gone for the chip. He went for the chip twice in succession.
Yeah.
Away by Johannes. Tashrik Matthews for Allende. Quarterfinals of this competition for just the third time in their history. The Rockets, they did back in 2019. They beat Jomo Cosmos in the last 16 to progress through to the last 8 and eventually go on to win it. And then 2 seasons back, comfortable win 3-0 over non-league amateur side De General. But this would be by far their biggest scalp at this stage of the competition. Bujana. Mahlambi. Seleka Mahlambi! Trying to catch Onyango out at his near post. Mahlambi desperate to end that goal drought.
Against Marumo Gallants, he had 4 shots on target. Most of them came in this kind of fashion.
Yeah.
Always locate him on the wide areas. Great first touch to set himself up. Wanted to go for that near post to try and beat Onyango.
Could have won that game inside regulation time in the first round against Gallants, but forced into extra time and Letswalo won it in the 104th minute. Retrieved by Letsuenyo. Hangs it up. Should be an easy claim for Onyango, and is. Seleka Mahlambi has been so lively. The man who gave them the 2-goal cushion by winning their penalty against Tata Sabia.
I think the only area of improvement would be just for him to improve how clinical he gets immediately when he enters that 18-yard box or forcing those box entries.
Sine has been able to move it to the flank with Matthews. Modiba has come inside. Just wouldn't set up for Rizinho. He's lost the ball now. Bunjana. Zindoga takes it on himself. Junior Zindoga, who we hear will shortly be making way, wanting to impact the game in the little time that he still has on the field. Matthews. Modiba. Clever from Tashrik Matthews, still can't free himself from Obamutong. Tembezwane with a wonderful turn. Zwane denied by Tape. Well, Tembezwane, who hasn't scored since netting in the Nedbank Cup final 2 seasons ago in what ended up being a losing cause against Orlando Pirates. Now play towards Brian Leon. He's been able to keep it alive here. Nuno Santos. That's probably not what he intended. As Mbunjana gets it clear. Silva is down.
Leon judged to be going on. Mbunjana starts up. Sure, you have to marvel the work that Zwane does to make sure that he gets very low, shows great strength, uses the defender. Look at that turn. The save from Ira really keeping TS Galaxy in the lead.
Come up with several crucial saves now as Tape. Mgaga relinquished his spot in the 11 for the debutant Pamandla Ngwenya, who scored the opening goal, but he will get a chance now in the final 10 minutes of regulation time. Remember, there's still the potential for 30 beyond that, but Mamelodi Sundowns would have to draw level. And Junior Zindoga, with the day's second goal, has made way for Mori Keita. His job done. Victor Tsana, the other player, should be withdrawn. TS Galaxy playing for the 8th time at home in the Nedbank Cup. They've lost 4 times and won just thrice, but they have won their past 2 home games in the competition. That was against Gallants this season, and against Vasco da Gama in the first round of the previous campaign, a 7-0 victory. Santos. Mbunjana takes care of it. Santos to Leon. Good defensive work done. Mgaga getting it clear. Johannes under it. There's Johannes. He has a go well off the mark.
Things haven't really gone Mamelodi Sundowns' way. Really tried to penetrate the wide areas and get the crosses. Frustration on Johannes' face spells. Been forced to take those long-range shots. None of them have really troubled Ira, who I think has been exceptional this afternoon with some top saves.
Kaizer Chiefs not involved in Nedbank Cup action. They went out to Stellenbosch in the first round. Have a chance to get their revenge against them in the Betway Premiership this coming Tuesday at the FNB Stadium. Even if Mahlambi doesn't get on the score sheet today, I think he'll be very encouraged by his own output. And I'm sure it is weighing on him that he hasn't got a goal in such a long time after a great start. Miguel also watches on pensively.
think it becomes very important for players like Mahlambi in terms of just knowing what they can contribute, but the numbers as well as an attacking player matter just as much. If it is that he's not getting on the goal front, he should be assisting and topping those stats.
And Velase bursting through. Away by Santos. Zwane for Matthews. And Macbeth Mahlangu getting there ahead of Brian Leon. Mamelodi Sundowns since 2008, today playing in their 66th Nedbank Cup match. They have lost only 14 times, that's including wins and losses on penalties, 51 wins. But they are heading towards another defeat here. Johannes. Morena. Santos. It's a decent delivery from out wide, but Leon beaten to it. Morena. Velase stepping in. Solile Sueño hacking it clear. TS Galaxy very eager to make their fifth and final change, but Sundowns quickly restart play. Allende to Santos. Good ball in from Santos, but Ira collects brilliantly. Ira Tape with a lovely claim.
Yep, he's been fearless, commanding his area. Very confident as well at the back.
Still looking for a route back into this game. It's in the clutches of the Galaxy goalkeeper. It is not where Sundowns want the ball to be at this very moment. Mahlambi laying it off for Shantlam Gaga. That's brilliantly done by a right fullback. Mutong doesn't get into those kind of positions all too often. He's usually on the outside, but he made an inside run and jinked past a couple.
Yeah, he had to exercise a lot of discipline this afternoon. Is Mutong usually bombs up forward, but this time around had so much more to do defensively.
Well, they're going to lose an attacking player and lose an outlet here, but they're replacing him with defensive-minded player Lamini holding midfield, although he's played at right fullback for Galaxy this season as well.
Yeah, closing shop, game management, bringing in another defensive midfielder to really just try and keep things very tight in that midfield and not give Mamelodi Sundowns any chance.
Briefly saw Kennedy Mwene there. In goal the last time Sundowns fell at this stage in the Nedbank Cup, which was 9 years ago now. Dlamini, his first involvement is a good one. Mutong displaces his pass to Modiba. This is Zwane. Still toiling in pursuit of a comeback on Mamelodi Sundowns, who definitely know how to score late, as they've already proved this year against Skipuni United. A 2-0 win with both of their goals coming in injury time. Shantlam Gaga with a nice pick out of Kakora. He's asking too much of Letswinyo. A reminder that this is only the second time TS Galaxy have ever scored 2 against Mamelodi Sundowns. It's the first time in almost a year against any side that they've scored 2 in the first half, and in fact, rather the first time in almost a year that Sundowns have conceded 2 in the first half. But the game that we keep drawing comparisons with is that last 16 clash in the Carling knockout back in 2023. The Galaxy took a 2-goal lead, and Sundowns hit back at 2-2. A game that eventually went to penalties, a game that is overshadowed in part by Bira Parker's horror injury, Bongani Zunga breaking his leg in that particular game, if you recall. Now this is looking better for Mamelodi Sundowns. Timbers are crowded out. We're officially into the final minute of regulation time. Out-swinging take. It's well met, but loops up off the heads of Nuno Santos and over.
Yeah, Bunjana does just enough to make sure that he doesn't get to the ball very comfortably. Makes it a little bit difficult for him. Santos hasn't really found any chances. It's been a difficult afternoon for Mamelodi Sundowns.
We are about to learn how much injury time will be added here as 4 minutes goes up on the board. Johannes Onyango. Put in forwards. With the ball for Keita. It's back with Mamelodi Sundowns and Dennis Onyango. Jezinho. Santos is on the move. Silver away. Tashrik Matthews, Modiba, both on his second half substitutes. Still Aubrey Modiba, now Jezinho. Gaga, it's broken here for Brian Leon, and a free kick for Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, Brian Leon appealing for a yellow card for Kakora, who is already on a yellow. Perhaps under other circumstances it might have warranted a booking.
Flirting with danger indeed.
So it needs to be now for Mamelodi Sundowns. They have 2 minutes remaining. They need to score 2 goals. One of them has to surely be from this free kick. Taken direct and dismal from Modiba. Sums up their afternoon.
Absolutely, a team with great quality. Mamelodi Sundowns, even if in open play that they didn't get that kind of rhythm, they should be really showing absolute professionalism in terms of set pieces. Those are the opportunities they got and they should be capitalizing.
Pulls it across field here for Morena. Santos. Poor cross. Matepe in the Swedes has seen his sides produce heroics over the past 7 days, but this afternoon in Kwanhlanga, it's just not their day. It's a famous victory for TS Galaxy at the Solomon Mahlangu Stadium. They are through to the Nedbank Cup quarterfinals for the 3rd time in their history.